Hey, Tiger.
Amazing.
All right, web slinger.
The human spider.
Sensational.
Spider Ham.
The arachnid hottie.
Ball crawling menace.
The bombastic bagman.
Spectacular.
Spider-Man! Lego Man!
Welcome to Comicpalooza presents The Adventure Begins. I'm Chaz.
And I'm Jared from, I guess the Adventure Begins show.
We asked which superhero is your favorite, and you responded faster than a goblin glider.
That's right. Created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko in 1962, Spider-Man made his first appearance in Marvel's anthology comic series, Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Instantly swinging into the world of pop culture and in our hearts.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man series broke ground by featuring Peter Parker, a high school student from Queens, New York, whose self-obsessions with rejection, inadequacy, and loneliness, young readers could relate to.
Yeah, and old readers too, I guess. With all the makings of a sidekick, unlike previous teen heroes such as Bucky or Robin, he didn't have an actual superhero mentor to lead him like Captain America or Batman.
So he had to learn for himself
Yeah.
that with great power comes great responsibility. And he does in a big way.
That's right.
Spider-Man is one of the most popular and commercially successful superheroes to date.
Yeah. As Marvel's flagship character and company mascot, he has appeared on countless forms of media, including several animated and live-action TV series, comic strips, movies, lunchboxes, toys, games, and so much more. Speaking of games, Jarek and Spencer are going to show you the ins and outs of one of the most popular games today.
Marvel Champions.
What's up, nerds? My name is Jarek, and this month for our exclusive Comicpalooza Tab Talk, we'll be covering the Marvel Champions card game, as well as the upcoming Spider-Man Miles Morales video game coming out later this year. So, Iron Man and the Black Panther are teaming up to stop Rhino from rampaging across New York. Claw has put together a mysterious band of renegades that sit there and terrorize the world, and Ultron needs to be stopped by Captain Marvel and Spider-Man before he takes over the world in a, apocalyptic type situation. This is the setup for Marvel Champions, the card game. And it's going to invite players to embody iconic heroes from the Marvel Universe as they battle through infamous villains and stop their devious schemes. As a living card game, Marvel's Champion is going to have a lot of regular content coming out, and it's perfect for anyone who's interested in card games and staying in tune with the Marvel Universe. So with me today, I'm going to have my friend Spencer come on board. He's going to talk about the Marvel Champions card game.
Hey guys, so the Marvel Champions Living Card Game is basically just a card game where you're trying to defeat the villains with your heroes, and what's really nice about it that I like compared to like your standard Magic the Gathering or Pokemon and stuff like that, they sell them in these full bulk sets.
That's true.
Like it's the full deck right there, whereas I don't like throwing all my money.
You don't want to have to sit there and scour packs for cards that may or may not be useful.
Exactly, where each of these packs is going to give you everything that you need to play and tell you what is in each of the packs.
Exactly. So that's a big plus for the Marvel Champions card game. This is a living card game, so you're going to have games coming out. And like Spencer said, there's going to be full sets that you buy them. So these blister packs, which are character packs, like this Thor one here, has everything you need to play Thor, as well as all the cards you can use to sit there and make your own deck, which is another really cool thing that Marvel Champions card game does. It allows you to customize decks as you go. It's going to recommend various things that you can play with. So if you're just getting used to a character, you're getting used to the game in general, it'll give you a full set list you can play with, and it kind of get moving with that. But once you're experienced and you've played through a couple times, you have the freedom and creativity to make your own set lists.
Yeah, you still have that deck building aspect while it also gives you just a straightforward way to enter the game and then learn the game itself.
What's also amazing is if this is a game that you can play by yourself. This is a solo game, and it's kind of designed from the ground up as that. So if you don't have friends that you want to play with this at the time, but you really want to get into the Marvel Universe, Marvel Champions is perfect for that. It's going to have the entire system built up so you can go solo with just one hero and one villain, but you can also invite 3 of your favorite friends to come down and also play the game. So it really does a good job supporting up to 4 players. It's kind of the best when you have 2 players going head-to-head against the villain, but we can add more, and I think 4 is usually the top out for this. What's also really nice about this is you're not sitting down for an entire day to play this game. Yeah, it's about an hour for playtime, so you're not, you don't have to dedicate an entire evening just to this.
It's not like your Twilight Imperium where you're going to be spending a ton of time just playing the same thing, whereas
Exactly.
it's going to be a more quicker pace.
Exactly.
But what I really like about it is the single player aspect. A lot of people don't really know that many board games do have single player aspects, and so they fear of getting into it and not having people to play with, whereas this is perfect because you don't need other people to play with.
You don't always need people to play with you. So the other key thing to keep in mind is this is a family-friendly game, so you can play this with your kids. It does recommend ages about 13 up, just to understand the various mechanics that you're playing with. But, you know, if you want to bring the whole family involved, you want to sit down and play some Marvel games, this is a great one for you. Other key things to keep in mind is this is more of a hand management game rather than a deck builder. So as opposed to most of the games where you sit there and you're adding things to a deck as you play through cards, this is more you have a predefined deck, kind of like Dungeon Mayhem is like, and you're spending cards to get access to other cards within your hand. So you don't have to worry about the complex machinations of a deck builder as you're playing a game. So the base game is going to include 5 heroes when you buy it. You'll have Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, and of course, everyone's favorite, Spider-Man. So if you are interested in adding new heroes to your deck, don't worry about that. You can get these, once again, awesome decks that also can throw in new characters like Thor, Captain America, Miss Marvel, all this really awesome things. And if you get tired of the current villains that are in there and the scenario is built up, don't worry. They also have other expansions which are further scenarios like Rhino rampaging through the streets or Green Goblin kind of doing his nefarious deeds as it goes. So this is the Marvel's Champions card game, so if you're interested in anything like this is a great buy for you. But that's not all coming up when it comes to Spider-Man. Later this year, it seems like we're going to have a new Marvel Spider-Man video game dropping, huh?
I am very excited about the new Miles Morales Spider-Man game.
Exactly.
I was a huge fan of the original one. I played the entire thing all the way through, did every single side mission. That's just such an amazing part about the game is that there's so many ways to explore.
Exactly. So this is dropped in 2018, the original Spider-Man game, which you play as Peter Parker going through the streets of New York, cleaning up crime and stopping a nefarious plot going on as, you know, kind of the Sinister Six get formed, but it's not really them.
Okay, let's do this.
Miles Morales is getting his own video game. He was teased quite a bit in the original. It's going to be really interesting. It's a standalone game, so you don't have to have played the original Spider-Man game to get into this. It's going to include new villains, new story elements, new challenges, and a whole bunch of other new content to get new players put into it. Other key things to keep in mind is, you know, he's not the same as Peter Parker. He's been fighting crime for a while, so you can kind of see when he fights people, he's more fluid, he knows exactly what he's doing. Miles Morales is a new kid on the block. He's very young, he's a new hero, so you're going to kind of fumble through combat encounters at times. You're going to feel a little more blocky, a little more bulky as you kind of go through things. And of course, he has different powers.
Yeah, exactly. So he has different powers so that it's just going to be a completely new gameplay while sticking to those same core elements, which is really nice so that you don't really have to learn that much if you played the game before, but it offers a whole new experience.
Exactly. So if you're interested in this, keep an eye out in the holiday season of 2020 for the Marvel Spider-Man's Miles Morales as that's released. So that's what we have this month in terms of Spider-Man content, both here at a store and in general. So we're going to take it on to some other fun stuff this episode.
Do you guys have any D&D stuff? I hate busy days.
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with my Dark Elder army because the Venoms just aren't good anymore.
Really?
Yeah. With your stupid cheaty Marines.
And with this.
Yeah. Well, 2 wounds. They're not as good as they were anymore. I'm probably gonna have to do Raiders, which I need like 6 Raiders now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you know, the Venoms were really good because they were good at killing a bunch of dudes with 1 wounds, but cheaty Marines and 2.
So Venoms aren't as good as they used to be?
Right, Venoms aren't as good as they used to be.
Ugh.
You know what will kill those Venoms? Spider-Mans.
Spider-Man's super cool because he's really good looking and he shoots webs out of his hands, and I mean, it's Tom Holland. What else do you want? It's great.
Spider-Man's awesome.
Spider-Man can be anybody.
He's been really diverse and it's really changed over the years, and that's something I've been able to get into.
Yeah, man, I love Spider-Man because he's the everyday man. Like, I can relate to him. He's got the same struggles that I do, and superpowers.
I like Spider-Man because everybody sees him as a normal teenage boy, but under all of that, he's a superhero that fights crimes and saves the world.
Spider-Man's awesome because his flips are cool.
I think Spider-Man's cool because he's a young, spunky kid from Brooklyn.
I like his powers and his costume.
Spider-Man is cool because he shoots webs.
I like Spider-Man because he flies through the city on his webs, and he has a really cool super suit.
I think you mean Deadpool's boyfriend.
Spider-Man is basically everything we ever wanted to be as a kid.
He's so popular because he's a nerd like us.
Marvel has featured Spider-Man in several comic book series, the first and long-lasting being The Amazing Spider-Man.
Over the years, Peter Parker has developed from a shy, nerdy New York City high school student to a confident Avenger that will do anything it takes to overcome a problem and save the city while doing it.
That's right, and Spidey had a big obstacle to overcome in one of his most legendary stories ever told. The obstacle being himself.
Craven's Last Hunt, written by J.M. DeMatteis, with art by Mike Zeck, is one of the most exciting Spider-Man stories ever told. Sergei Kravinoff, aka Craven the Hunter, defeats Spider-Man and buries his body. Craven acquires a Spider-Man suit and sets off to wreak havoc. He beats some criminals in combat, but these are too easy. He needs to be challenged. At this time, a villain known as Vermin has been terrorizing New York. Spider-Man fought Vermin in the past, but needed Captain America's help. Craven realizes this is the opportunity he needs to get one over on old Spidey. If he can beat Vermin by himself, then he would truly be the better Spider-Man. And what do you know? He beats him. Shortly after, Spider-Man rises from his grave. Turns out Craven didn't actually kill Spider-Man, but only shot him with a tranquilizer and buried him alive. Spider-Man goes out to find Craven, and when he does, the hunter doesn't put up a fight. Instead, he brings Spider-Man to a captured Vermin and pits the two against each other. Just as Vermin is about to beat Spider-Man, Craven stops the fight and allows Vermin to leave. Craven the Hunter has proven his point. He really is the better Spider-Man. Spidey chases after Vermin, exclaiming he'll be back for Sergei. The web-slinger finds Vermin beneath the city and defeats him on his own, reestablishing that he is the true Spider-Man. Back at his mansion, Craven, satisfied with the final hunt, grabs no spoilers. Pitching it both to DC and Marvel, DeMatteis' story treaded a lot of leather before finding its final resting place as a Spider-Man story arc. Initially, it was supposed to be a Wonder Man miniseries, with Grim Reaper playing the part of Craven. Later, it was pitched again as a Batman story, where the Joker finally killed the Dark Knight and, without Batman to fight against, goes sane. Craven's Last Hunt was also pitched as a story between Batman and Hugo Strange, where Strange would take on the role of Batman. DeMatteis later found himself writing Spider-Man and thought it perfectly suited the web-slinger. He didn't have a villain in mind and was going to create a whole new one, but while flipping through a Marvel Universe handbook, he finds Craven, and the rest is Marvel history. History. Well, there's been a lot of it when it comes to Spidey, but it's far from over.
That's right, we got all your Spidey needs here at the Adventure Begins comics and games.
So swing on over and grab yours today. It doesn't stick around the shelves for long.
It really doesn't.
Cheers to the cats over at Comicpalooza for letting us team up with them.
And as well as all those cool, fantastic people who shared all their cool Spider-Man videos.
Yeah, most of all, thank you for watching. So remember, Spidey friends, always be amazing, friendly, sensational, and spectacular. Excelsior!
Spider-Man is one of the most popular and Spider-Man is one. Okay.
It's cool, man. You got this.
I'm Chaz. And I'm Jarek from, you guessed it, The Adventure Begins.
No way.
That's weird. That's weird how that works. Marvel has featured Spider-Man. Has featured Spider-Man card game. I need to learn how to read. Reading is important when it comes to stuff, man. So this is really cool. You're going to include 5 heroes. Black Panther. It's going to have Captain Marvel.
Iron Man, She-Hulk, and Spider-Man.
Exactly. Let's redo that, Jose.
Okay.
Hey, he's been fighting crime for a while.
As long as I don't do that, I'll be good. Thank you.
That's a wrap on Spencer.
Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment below, and let us know how much you enjoyed this episode. Listener feedback is very important to us, so let us know what you think. Click the subscribe button and ring that bell to get instant notifications. Thanks for watching Comicpalooza Presents, a crossover with The Adventure Begins. Stay tuned and see ya, nerds.